Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and selamat sejahtera. My name Puan Julia binti Ahmad. Today we have to cover chapter 5, population genetic. Under this chapter, have two sub-chapter, 5.1 gene pool concept and 5.2 Hardy-Weinberg law. 5.1 gene pool concept. Learning outcomes. At the end of the lesson, students should be able to explain population genetics, gene pool, allele frequencies, and genetic equilibrium. Population genetics. What is means of population genetics? Population genetics means the studies of how populations change genetically over time. The key point here is the studies of how population change genetically over time. For example, this diagram shows I have three different generations of pepper moth. From this diagram, we can see that have a difference in the numbers of the individuals from one generations to another generations, means from one generations to generation 2 and to the next generation, generation 3. We can see here that the black pepper moth increase in numbers from one generations to generations. Next is populations. What is means of populations? Populations means a groups of individuals of the same species that live in the same area and able to be interbreed sexually and produce fertile offspring. The key point here is same species, live in the same area and able to interbreed and make sure can produce a fertile offspring. We can see example here. We have two different colors of rabbit that live in the different area. So area A and area B. Even these two rabbit is the same species, but they are considered as a different populations. Next, gene pools. What is gene pool? Gene pool consists of all alleles at all gene loci in all individuals of the populations. I repeat again, gene pool consists of all alleles at all gene loci in all individuals of the populations. For diploid species, there are two alleles for every gene. For example, this round we consider as a gene pools or area that consists of a populations. In this area consists of homozygous individuals and a heterozygous individuals. Also example here, we can see a populations of pig that consists of homozygous dominant, homozygous recessive, and heterozygous. For one gene should be present a pair of alleles to show the characteristic or trait. For these homologous loci, and individuals can be homozygous. Here is homozygous dominant, homozygous recessive or heterozygous. So heterozygous means combinations of dominant and recessive allele. Okay, so let's try how to calculate a gene pool. So here we have an examples of a populations of flowers, okay, with a different types of color. Okay, first we have to calculate numbers of individuals of flowers or plants. So we have 500 plants. Okay, remember back, gene pools means a total numbers of allele in all individuals of the populations. The numbers of allele, not numbers of individuals. Okay, because these are diploid organisms, so each plant carries 2 alleles, so means one gene equal with 2 alleles. What we have to do is 2 alleles have to multiply with 500 plants, so we get 1000 of alleles. Okay, so the answer is 1000 of allele. Okay, now we learn how to calculate allele frequency. So first we have to know what is means of allele frequency. So allele frequency means ratios of total numbers of a particular allele to the total numbers of all alleles in the gene pool. Okay, the key point here is total numbers of particular alleles. Okay, we only have 2 types of alleles. Okay, dominant and recessive. Okay, to the total numbers of all alleles in the gene pool. Okay, so how to find out the frequencies of dominant allele? The formula is total numbers of dominant alleles in gene pools and divide with the total numbers of all alleles in gene pool. Then frequencies of recessive allele, total numbers of recessive alleles in gene pool divide with the total numbers of all alleles in gene pool. Okay, so let's try to calculate allele frequency. So example, question E, calculate the frequency for allele R or dominant allele R. Okay, the table here shows a populations or one population where is they have homozygous dominant with 980 individuals, homozygous recessive have 180 individuals, and heterozygous have 840 individuals. What we have to do is we have to find out dominant alleles in homozygous individuals and the total numbers of dominant alleles in heterozygous individuals. Okay, so we have 980 individuals in homozygous dominant. So 980 have to multiply with 2. So equal 1960 alleles. Why we have to multiply with 2? Like we discussed before. Okay, each diploid individuals or one gene have pairs of alleles. Okay, then total numbers of dominant alleles in heterozygous individuals is 840. Multiply with 1 because in heterozygous individuals we only have one capital letters R or dominant allele R. No need to multiply with 2. Okay, so the total numbers of dominant allele is 2800. Next, the total numbers of alleles, 2000 multiply with 2 alleles. 2000s. Try to calculate all this. So you will get 2000 individuals. And all these 2000 individuals carry a pairs of gene. And we have to multiply with 2 alleles. So the answer is 4,000 alleles in a gene pools. And frequencies of dominant allele are 2,800 divide with 4,000 equal with 0.7. Okay, because before this it was discussed, the formulas of frequencies of dominant allele is the total numbers of dominant alleles of a gene pool divide with the total numbers of alleles in gene pools. So the answer is 0.7. Okay, next, another question is calculate the frequencies for recessive allele. Okay, first, we have to calculate total numbers of recessive alleles in homozygous individuals and total numbers of recessive alleles in heterozygous individuals. Okay, based from the data, so we have 180 individuals for the homozygous recessive. So we have to multiply with 2, 180 multiply with 2, and we get 360 alleles. For the heterozygous individuals, so we have 840. So 840, no need to multiply with 2 due to the heterozygous individual only have one recessive alleles. So we get 840. So the total is 1,200. So next, the total numbers of alleles in a population is 2,000, like we calculate before. So these 2,000 individuals have to multiply with 2 alleles and we get 4,000 alleles. So the frequencies of recessive allele is 0.3. How to find the 0.3? So 1,200 over with 4,000. So the answer is 0.3. Okay, so next is genotype frequency. So what is means of genotype frequencies? So genotype frequencies mean ratios of total numbers of individuals with a particular genotype to the total numbers of all individuals in a population. So the key point here is total numbers of individuals with a particular genotype. Before this, we focus on the particular allele. Okay, to the total numbers of all individuals in a population. Okay, genotype, we have 3 types of genotype, where is homozygous dominant, homozygous recessive, and heterozygous. Okay. Formulas for the frequencies of homozygous dominant genotype is a total numbers of homozygous dominant individuals over with the total numbers of all individuals in a population over with all individuals in the populations. Okay, next is frequencies of homozygous recessive genotype is a total numbers of homozygous recessive individuals over with the total numbers of all individuals in a population. And last is frequencies of heterozygous genotype is a total numbers of heterozygous individuals over with the total numbers of all individuals in a population. Okay, we look at example. Okay, question A. Calculate the frequencies for the homozygous dominant are heterozygous and homozygous recessive genotype. Okay, we use the same data like in allele frequency. So first is we have to find out the total numbers of homozygous dominant individuals. Next, we have to find out the total numbers of homozygous recessive individuals and the total numbers of heterozygous individuals. Okay, based from the data, so homozygous dominant individual is 680. Then homozygous recessive is 180. And last, heterozygous is 880. So the total numbers of all individual is 2000. The next, frequencies of homozygous dominant. Okay, frequencies of homozygous dominant, like in our formula before. Okay, the total numbers of all the homozygous dominant individuals, means 680, over with the total numbers of all individuals in a populations. Okay, so the answer is 0.49. And the frequencies of homozygous recessive. So the total numbers of homozygous recessive individuals over with the total numbers of all individuals in the population, and answer is 0.09. And last is heterozygous. Frequencies of heterozygous means the total numbers of heterozygous individuals over with the total numbers of all individuals in the population. So the answer is 0.42. Okay, now we look at the relationship between allele frequency and genetic equilibriums. Okay, genetic equilibriums means the conditions of a population in which allele frequency and genotype frequency remain constant, mean do not change from one generation to the next generations. Okay, the key point here is genetic equilibriums should be allele frequency and genotype frequency remain constant from one generation to the next generations. Means the allele frequencies and genotype frequencies maintain. And population does not evolving. Evolving means do not undergo evolutions. What is means of evolutions? Okay, evolutions means the changes in allele frequency in a populations. Okay, the changes in allele frequency in a populations. Okay, we can see from this diagram. Okay, have a changes of the frequencies of allele and frequencies of genotype from generation 1 to generation 10 and generation 20. So means that these populations not under genetic equilibriums. Okay, now we cover 5.2 Hardy-Weinberg law. Learning outcomes for Hardy-Weinberg law. At the end of the lesson, students should be able to state the Hardy-Weinberg law and state the 5 assumptions of Hardy-Weinberg law for genetic equilibriums, where is large population size, random mating, no mutations, no migrations, and no natural selection. Okay, Hardy-Weinberg law proposed by G.H. Hardy and Wilhelm Weinberg. Okay, definitions of Hardy-Weinberg law is in a populations that exist in genetic equilibrium, alleles and genotypes frequency remain constant from one generation to the next generations. Okay, and members in the population can reproduce sexually. Okay, Hardy-Weinberg law. Okay, Hardy-Weinberg law is used in a population that is not evolving, means there is no changes in the allele frequencies and genotype frequency. Okay, 5 conditions or assumptions for Hardy-Weinberg equilibriums. Okay, the population should be large in size. Random fertilizations occur. No migrations occur. No mutations. And last, no natural selection. Okay, keep in your mind that Hardy-Weinberg law is only can be applied when 5 conditions or assumptions for Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium is followed. Okay, first is no selections, no mutation, no migration, large population size, and random mating. Okay, try to do this exercise. So question number 1, the sum totals of all genes in a population is known as. Okay, the answer is gene pool. Okay, so next question, question number 2. Which of the following is not assumptions for maintaining the Hardy-Weinberg equilibriums? Okay, so remember that 5 assumptions for the Hardy-Weinberg equilibriums. Okay, so the answer is an increasing mutation rate. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.